we struggle with a little bit. I believe it's been improved lately, and people are able to find themselves by name. But the reason why users might not show up is it actually takes a little bit of time. It might take 24 or 48 hours before your profile gets sourced and shown into search results. You can still submit proposals, okay? So as long as your profile is active, you can submit proposals, and if clients happen to look for your skills, I think they might still be able to find you. You might show up in recommended lists, things like that. But if you're still not finding yourself, after a day or two, go ahead and check with us. Ask in the community, and we'll see if we can help you out. Arif says, last few months I've been applying to many jobs, but I don't have any job. Recently my account was suspended. Please tell me the solution. What can I do now? Hey Arif, I can't look specifically into your account, but if it has been suspended for any reason or there's another issue with it, whenever those notices get sent out, they typically get sent out through email. I would encourage you to go back to that email and follow up in that way. There are some instances where folks are getting rejected from signing up to the site because, what we've seen is after your profile has been completed, there aren't the types of that you're looking for aren't available here. So, we want to save you the effort and the time of getting frustrated by not finding the right opportunities. And so we might say, hey, you know what, at this point, we don't see the right opportunities. You might want to continue working on your skills and your profile, and we'll see at a later time if it makes sense for you to jump in. Eric says, can you retake tests? I believe the retake period right now is 30 days. Some skill tests may take a little bit longer before you can take it again, 60 days or so. But most skill tests, if not all of them, you will be able to retake it, just probably not immediately. Cindy says, what should you do if you don't have an employment history, or if it has nothing to do with your target work? A great point, Cindy. Employment history can be one of those things where it may not be particularly relevant what you're looking to do here, but in some cases it can still show that type of professional experience. Professional experience across, there's a certain type of professionalism, the ability to communicate, the ability to deliver results, the ability to work with customers that translates across many industries. And in those instances, if that's the type of employment history you have, I would include it, because it shows potential clients that, hey, okay, maybe Cindy's not, I'm using for an example, Cindy, but maybe Cindy's just looking to jump into graphic design, doesn't have a whole lot here. But you know what? She actually worked in customer service for many, many years, and has been known to have a great satisfaction rate. And that tells me that at least she's done something, and she has some experience. She's used to being managed. She's used to working with large groups. She's used to communicating with customers. That's something that, if it's completely irrelevant, it's a judgment call you'll need to make, Cindy. I actually, in most cases, err on the side of including it rather than not. Lisa, I see you asked a question also about retaking skill tests. Yeah, you can retake it. Norvard says, many people want to hire with a 90% job success score. Please tell me what you do if I don't have it yet and I'm a beginner. Good question, Norvard. To be very, very, very clear, the default settings on job posts, so when a client's going through and posting a job, the default setting there is, hey, I'm looking for someone who's 90% job success score or above. So that's why you're seeing that, Norvard. But many clients will change that default setting. And just because that's the default setting does not mean in most instances you're restricted from submitting the proposal. So if you're a good fit and you have the right skills, maybe you're brand new, but you can do this role, and it's a good fit for what you've done before, maybe not on Upwork, but before with your experience, go for it. Okay. If there's a particular reason why you can't submit a proposal, and maybe the client has specified a skill set or has some other requirement that you don't meet, we're going to tell you that, or the client's going to tell you that. But if it's a really good fit for your skill, I'd say just go for it. Aladdin says, is it a good idea to propose a free offer for testing and to get credibility? No, absolutely not. We don't want you doing free work, Aladdin, and that's because we want you getting paid. You're here to get paid for your time, okay? You're not giving away anything for free. Now, you might say, well, I don't have any experience in this type of work, and the client really wants to see if I'm capable of doing this role. Well, you have a couple of options. One is you can go and you can start to build out your own personal portfolio. And I always recommend people have that. You know, if you're a transcriptionist, maybe do some work, keep it in your personal files. If you're a designer, do some work and keep it in your personal files. If you're a web developer, hopefully you've built a website or done some more work to kind of get your training and stuff, and put that in your portfolio and send that to the client. But also you can ask them to do a paid test job. This is something that we recommend to the clients too, is if they're looking at Aladdin and they say, you know, he seems really good, but he just doesn't have the experience in this area, they can say, you know what, why don't we hire you for an hour this week? And your rate is $30, so we're going to say at the end of the week, I'm going to pay you $30 to do a quick sketch of this, or to you know, do a quick voiceover of this transcript here. And so what you're doing is you're able to do a portion of the work, something that's very specific to what they want, even maybe the first half of the video or the first part of the logo that you're getting paid for, and it's for a small part of their budget. So you can propose that. You can say, hey, just to make sure you feel really comfortable with what I can do, and you know, I would love to get some work done for this. Why don't we set up a contract for a first draft of your blog post, and instead of, you know, the $50 that I would charge for this type of work, I'm going to do it for $25. So you can do that as well. Okay. Gassan says, hi, I'm new to Upwork. I already submitted a proposal. Can I change the proposal after I submitted it, or can I email the client through Upwork? Hey, Gassan, you know, I don't know when the ability is to edit a proposal, to be honest with you. A little embarrassed by that. I used to know that functionality. So you'll see if you go to your My Job page, click on that job and find your proposal, you'll see whether or not you can edit it directly from there. Can you message the client through Upwork? Only if they've messaged you already. So after you submitted your proposal, if they respond, either say, Gassan, that this is cool, or hey, can I ask you a question about your price, or can we set up an interview? When they respond, that creates a message room for you. So if you go to your messages tab today, Gassan, you'll see whether or not you have a message room with that client. And then you can get in there and send them a message or clarify anything. What is a reasonable amount of time to spend writing each proposal? It can take a lot of time to do it perfectly, and I've had very low response rate. That's from Lisa. Hey, Lisa, you know, there's no hard or fast rule there. You know, I talked to some freelancers, some of the best freelancers on Upwork, who say, you know, they're now at such a good place in terms of know what they want to put in a proposal. They have a framework or a template where it takes them a half hour. I rarely hear people say it takes them minutes. So I think, you know, if you're looking at 30 minutes to an hour or something like that, that's probably cool. But you know, everyone's different. The only thing that I'll make sure I mention is it should be a custom proposal, right? You should be taking whatever time it takes to do a little bit of research, to restate your understanding of the job post, and to really stand out. Cindy says, are interviews done through the Upwork site? Hopefully, Cindy. Ideally, yes. So once the client has responded to your proposal or invited you to their job post and you send in your proposal, it creates that message room that I mentioned. And that's the best place to have these interviews. Interview can be done through video, can be done just voice. You can message each other there back and forth through the chat functionality. But ideally, we want you having that interview on Upwork because then you're starting to build that relationship on the platform, and then you can make sure you see it through fruition. It is perfectly okay as of today. You know, maybe in the future it changes, but today you can agree on that message area to say, hey, can we do a Skype call next week? Or can we do a Google Hangout tomorrow? So that type of interview can also happen. Can we have a phone call today? You can do that as well. But I recommend trying to do those things on the Upwork message area so you have that documentation there. Or if you do that Skype call, if you do that conference call, make sure you come back and document that in the message area. Hey, as we discussed over Skype, you're looking for someone to do this, this, and this. I recommend, you know, I'm going to need to adjust, we should adjust the cost here from $50 an hour to $55 an hour. Please do that accordingly in the contract. Just make sure you're using that message area to document the decisions. What if the client asks for a Skype interview? That's Assad. Yeah, like I just mentioned, Assad, you can do that. It's perfectly fine. I have Skype interviews from time to time. Just make sure you come and document that here on the message area. And I would recommend using the message area instead. Geraldine says, I've heard of scams with Google Hangout interviews. There are some scams that happen that way, Gerald, but it's not the only factor, right? There's scams for other reasons, and we've seen a trend that they tend to say, hey, let's talk over Google Hangout. So whenever my recommendation is, if your client's first response is to say, great proposal, let's have a Google Hangout, ask them first to do it over the messages. Ask them first to do the interview here on Upwork. It's just the best way to stay protected. That's where Upwork